What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Flowers. For those that's new to my channel, Flowers is my segment where I like to give some of my favorite albums their appreciation, or albums I feel like just deserve their goddamn flowers. I'm going to be talking about an album that, I'm going to just be frank, I think it's the best. I'm going to get killed for this. I think it's the best R&B album of the 90s, period. I don't think there's no other R&B album better than this. And with that being said, I'm ready for all the smoke. I'm going to be giving flowers to Mary J. Blige, My Life. Like I said, I think this is the best R&B album of the 90s. I feel like for how great this album is, I don't want to say this. I feel like how great this album is in my culture, the black culture, the urban culture, it doesn't get appreciated on the levels of like the Joni Mitchell's albums or just put up there the Janis Joplin albums. It don't get put up there with the great quote unquote white pop artists or blues singers. And I think like that's just a shame. This album is the blues. It's hip hop. I was listening to this album today, right? And I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. But I was listening to this album today, and I was thinking like these beats are like some of the best hip hop beats of all time. Like just the whole structure of the whole album is just like ridiculous, right? But then you hear her pain. You hear her like struggle. You hear exactly where she at in her life. Like My Life is the perfect title for this album because it shows the joy, it shows the unhappiness, the little bit of joy. Let me take that back. It shows a little bit of joy. It shows the unhappiness. It shows the uncertainty, the loss of love, the traumatic love that she's in. It shows the insecurities of herself and not being. She was young. She didn't even know herself all the way yet. She's still the story of figuring it out as a young black woman from Yonkers. Like, just crazy. And on your sophomore album, that the first one was, What's the 411, was already classic, certified out the park, new artist, changed the game. This one, though, out of the fucking world, man. So, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I just want to talk about some of my favorite moments on this album and just fan out for about 15 minutes, if that's all right with you. in my Diddy voice. Is that all right with you? So let's get into it. My Life came out in 1994, November 29th, 1994. Ooh, Thanksgiving. They knew what they was doing with that release. Mary J. Blige sophomore album, produced by Diddy, the DMV's own Chucky Thompson, and just the hitman. I think Polk was on here from Tone and Polk. From the intro of the track, right? The intro to the album with Diddy's leaving the voicemail, and you can hear in her voice that she's not even all the way into it yet. Like, man, we need to get in the studio, got started on the second album, blah blah blah. And then we go into which is probably one of my favorite covers. This album has two of my favorite covers. All Night Long, cover of the Mary Jane Girl, written by Rick James. One of my favorites, just period. It starts off so like fun, right? Like even the parts of the record where she's like scatting in a way, and like you could tell her vocals that she's having fun with. It's not the best vocals, scatting or vocals period, but you can hear the fun that she's having in that session. And then we go into You Bring Me Joy, which I think is like, I remember 1994, November 1994, I'm 4 going on 5. I remember my mother playing this shit, and it's probably like every kid who grew up in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. This album, your mother played front to back, back to forth, rewind it, flipped it, reversed it. You heard this album so many times, and it meant so much to just black women in the 90s. All the shit they go through, right? Just to be felt and seen and dealing with the nigga who ain't doing you right, or just trying to find yourself, the young 20. My mother was, what, 25? 29 when this album, like, you got to think she was still doing her thing. Like, so like this album I'm just a pup in the back seat listening to this shit, absorbing it all. So when I hear songs like "You Bring Me Joy," that's one of those Saturday morning. I'm riding with my mom, going to grandma's house, getting dropped off. She might be going to go do whatever she got to do, right? But that song means so much to my childhood. Like every time I hear that, even that dum 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 dum, that shit. Soon as that drop comes in, like that shit is like crazy. I don't know. It's Casey. I think Casey's on that song. Oh, JoJo. That's JoJo. Oh shit. I always thought it was Casey. It's JoJo. But God level, God level, God level. We get into "I'm the Only Woman You Need," right? And the funny part about that song, I love that. I always thought the line where she says, "Don't be a fool like your daddy. If you wanna be happy." Like that part was always like, that's some bold ass shit to say to a nigga. Like, don't be a fool like your daddy. All right, you gonna throw me and my dad on the bus? You don't even know my dad. One of the funny Jews on here, or just interesting Easter eggs, is the Keith Murray interlude where he's rapping on "Who Shot Ya." I always thought that was like so fucking dope. Like for that song to, just music was just so dope back in the day when things were like, you would get an interlude of a rapper rapping on a beat that didn't come out yet, but when the beat come out is Biggie and one of the greatest hip hop records of all time, and you get this little Easter egg that was here planted the whole time. I miss the 90s, man. We get into the title track, "My Life," which is probably the best song on here. I know it's in my top 3 favorite songs on here. "My Life." Even to do the flip of "My life, my life, my life, my life in the sun." There's that hook. If you could look at my life and see what I see. And in this song you can hear, man, it's so much pain in this record. So much emotion, so much awareness of like, I can't even describe it, man. It's just every time I hear this record to this day, I feel like I'm right there in Mary's life, like as she's writing this song. Like I can see it vividly. I can see the millions of black women and women in general who was going through the shit at the time. And I'm not even going to just say this is just a woman's story, because she expressed things like, life can be only what you make it. When you're feeling down, you should never fake it. Say what's on your mind, and you'll find in time that all that negative energy people love to see. Like things like those lines, I fluffed it up a bit, but things like those lines, like, she was dropping gems. And speaking of, and it just dawned on me, this is the first album where she started writing too. So like, you're really, really getting Mary J. And her classic la da 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 da. Like, to just thinking about that shit, I'm getting hyped. Like, I'll listen to this album all today, and I'm about to go listen to it again after I finish recording this. You gotta believe today. You gotta believe. You gotta believe. That's the one with Casey on there. And today, I'm listening to it in the car, and I'm like, that sounds like Faith. Check the credits. Faith Evans on there. Faith Evans was a background singer, a writer for Mary J. Blige back in the day, which would make sense because Faith Evans, with first album, which I think is a bona fide classic, it has a lot of undertones of My Life on it. Go check it out. Faith Evans' first album if you haven't. R&B classic. Like, she went from "You Bring Me Joy" to "Can't Live Without You." Think about that. Like the sequencing of this album, the roller coaster and ride that we go on is just like crazy. And then right after that is "I'm Going Down," which is probably one of my favorite covers ever. Just ever. So much that I think her cover probably I'm gonna get killed for this too, but I'm a 90s baby, and her cover reigns more than the original. Like, I remember Sister Sister when Tamara was singing and shit. Like, this song, her walking down the stairs, Mary J. Blige in the video, black and white video, walking down the stairs. Like, man, sleep don't come easy. Boy, please believe me, since you've been gone, everything's going wrong. Like, I vividly remember my mom and the auntie singing this shit. Why'd you have to say goodbye? Look what you done to me. I can't stop these tears from... Like, oh my gosh. That shit right there. This shit right here, nigga. Like, that shit right there. Just classic, classic, classic. Listen to "Be With You Today." I was like, damn. And this was always one of my music... This is one of the things in music I wish would have happened. We never got a Mary J. Blige and Tupac record. Like, ever. I think that record would have been amazing. I think Tupac should have been on "Be With You." I think it's the perfect song that Tupac could have been on. But I also enjoy that Mary J. Blige didn't have any rappers pretty much on here except for uh, I Love You, but the Smith and Wesson version, which is one of my favorites. I shine, you shine. If this world were mine, that shit is so dope. Like my favorite part of that song is what she said. It's the bridge when it's like, I wish you change your ways soon enough so we could be together. You must not understand real love or true love, something like that. Like, that's my shit, man. This is what I made the flower segment for, so I could just fan out like this, and the people who love the albums like Mary J. Blige, My Life, can like watch this shit on their phones, a computer, TV, or where you're watching this from, and just be like, I feel the same way as him. That bridge on there, that part right there in this song was like life changing for me. Like it impacted my life so much that like this came out in 94. It's 2022. I almost forgot it's 2020. It's 2022. And this shit is still means something, right? Just beautiful, man. What other joints on here? Oh, Don't Go. Don't Go. Again, Don't Go is one of my favorite songs on here, and the fact that they put that on the Big Papa remix. Don't go, don't go, don't go. Don't leave me, leave me, leave me. I love you so, one more chance. Her and Faith, man. No one else. That beat is fucking crazy. No wonder she's the queen of hip hop soul, right? Because the beats on here is just like Puffy was so. You got to give Puffy his genius card just for not for anything this album alone, just for the idea of having like, yo, what if we had a singer on some of these hard ass hip hop beats? What if we did that? And her voice fit so perfect. She was perfect for this shit. Mary J. Blige was so dope. You would see niggas riding around bumping My Life. Like loud. This hardcore. Like you would hear people bumping these women records, men bumping these women records out of their cars. Just as heavy as the women were. And 17 songs is a lot to like have zero misses. Trust me. And then when she ends the album with Be Happy, I think it's the perfect record to end the album. But it's also a sad way to end the album, right? I have this theory that all the best songs are like the sad songs over happy beats that you really can't. So when you hear I Just Want to Be Happy, when you hear that that bop right there, that Diddy bop, that's that Mary shit. All I really want is to be happy. To end the album saying that, like, do you understand how like beautiful but sad that is? Like she's like pleading, all I really want is to be happy. Like she's begging, like, I just want to be happy, yo. Like all this heartache shit I'm going through, the drug problems, the man problems, my self problems, suicidal thoughts, the adjustment to fame. I just want to be happy. That's just a honest way to end it. Like I can't even say anything else. That's just the honest way to end the album. Beautiful, sad, but honest, you know? With that being said, let me get into my best songs. And this is going to be tough because I only can pick 3. My Life, title track. I had to go with Mary Jane. I just love that song so much. That Be Happy or I'm Going Down. Which one? It's a toss-up between those two. Which one do I listen to most? Be Happy. I'm going to go with Be Happy. Worst song? No one else. No one else. Best line? Take your time, don't rush your thing. Don't you know I know that we all are struggling. I know it is hard, but we will get by. And if you don't believe in me, just believe in he. That's it. I also like the part where she says, and all that negative energy people love to see. Yeah. Mary J. Blige was like the woman Tupac to me. The singing R&B Tupac. That's just me, though. Let's wrap this up, though. In closing, shit, what else can I say? I feel like I did my job on this episode. Mary J. Blige, Flowers to You, My Life. Also, if you haven't checked out the My Life documentary, I think it's like 25-year doc on Amazon Prime. You should check it out. It's pretty dope. I love docs like that go in deep dives on certain classic albums. But this one, man, Mary, you probably never see this, but if you do, and all the Mary J. Blige fans is watching this album shaped my childhood. It shaped my youth. It's still shaping my adulthood as I get older and hearing certain things and starting to relate to different parts of the album more as I get older. It's just a beautiful masterpiece that I feel like should be talked about way more and appreciated way more on the level that we put the Janis Joplin's or Joni Mitchell album, Blue albums. It's right there to me. Our culture don't. I'll just say this. I'm just going to go against everything I just said. I know our culture doesn't have to be. We don't need appreciation or acceptance from anyone but our culture, right? I know that, and it's true. But they don't mean they ain't gotta show respect, and that's it. So, flowers from Mary J. Blige, My Life. You guys, let me know what's some of your favorite. Give me your top three. I know if I had to narrow it down, now you got to narrow it down. What's your top three songs off My Life? What's some of the things that stood out to you lyric wise that you that just stood out to you, helped you in your life, or got you through certain things? Drop that down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm Tatum. Peace.